Expectations. We all have them, particularly when it comes to God and other people. Expectations can give birth to misunderstanding, and misunderstanding to offense. Expectations can become justification for inaction. Expectations can become idols. There's been a fair amount of expectation concerning the City of Refuge through the years, and I think this might be a good time to clarify a few things regarding the kids and what we're trying to accomplish here. The children at the City of Refuge come from different situations and from all over central Honduras. And a near universal reaction by those of us who have traveled to these places is, how in the world did IMI ever find these kids? How indeed. Some children like Jefferson and his cousin Caben come from remote locations deep in the mountains with limited or no educational opportunities. Their best hope for the future was to maybe, if they were lucky, find a job picking coffee. They came to the City of Refuge so they could go beyond the 6th grade. Jefferson hopes to become an accountant one day, and Caben wants to be a pilot. Some of you will remember Jefferson's younger brother, Junior. He had some unmet expectations a little over a year ago, became offended, and like a true prodigal son, left of his own accord. He's expected to return to the City of Refuge next year, and we can't wait. Omar is 18 and wants to be a mechanic. He's an excellent student and currently in the 8th grade. You see, Omar never had the opportunity to attend school until his mother sent him to the City of Refuge following the deaths of his brothers in order to ensure that Omar would not become involved in drugs and gangs. Remember Hyper Josue from the last video? His mother was killed trying to immigrate to the US? Like many of our kids, it's putting it lightly to say that Josue has a few unresolved issues. But we do our best. Children, and especially traumatized children, tend to express their feelings through behavior. And as you can see, Josue is no exception. He's certainly got a long road ahead of him, and only God knows if he will succeed. What we do know is that lots of love, understanding, discipline, and physical activity are doing wonders for him now. It's understandable that some people would be confused by the term orphan, but it's actually pretty common for children at the City of Refuge to arrive as orphans with no identifiable family, only to have family members located years later. Many of you know or have at least heard about Wendy. She was our first child out of whose need the City of Refuge was actually born. What you may not know is that Wendy developed a serious mental illness just over a year ago that made her a potential danger to other children here. That's when her mother came back on the scene, and Wendy went to live with her. By the looks of things, I'd guess that Wendy's mom must have been around 12 or 13 when she had her. But now Wendy is on the appropriate medication, and she wakens early every morning to collect firewood and make tortillas for the family before heading off to school, where she is excelling. And while her physical accommodations may not be the best, she loves her family and is very happy. Even so, IMI continues to pay for her education and helps support the family, while our IMI social worker makes regular home visits to ensure all is well. You see, there's no perfect solution on this side of heaven, but there's also no welfare or foster care in Honduras, and organizations like IMI are often a child's only hope. Every good parent understands that love frequently manifests in the form of discipline, and that discipline can appear callous to those with less experience, and that it lacks the warm fuzzy feeling so often equated with Christian love. Our IMI video all-star Alex is an example of this. A lot of people know Alex. He's the best English speaker and a public relations master at the City of Refuge. Alex really knows how to make people feel appreciated and want to give him more stuff. Recently, Alex became very disrespectful, entitled, and rebellious. He was failing every subject in school, including English. We lectured him, counseled him, warned him, gave him consequences and deadlines for improvement. Things only got worse. Then Alex started leading other kids astray, so we took a risk. The father who tried to set Alex on fire has been gone for years now, so we took Alex home to stay with his mom. We knew it was only for a week or two, but we let Alex think it might be permanent. Anyway, he spent the week here at his mom's house and dug this hole for a latrine. Alex was more than ready to come home when we returned, and he signed a contract promising to improve. He stumbled once or twice since returning to the City of Refuge, but his grades are improving, and he practically begs to preach every Sunday. His best sermon thus far? The importance of having a life plan based on God's calling and remaining focused. He's also preparing a missions team from amongst his peers to fix his mom's house. We'll keep you posted as, like so many of us, Alex struggles to internalize the reality that intention and action are not the same. Some children come from poor but loving single-parent homes where parents are forced to choose between the safety of their children and feeding them. 5-year-old Herman is one of our newest children. His mother had no choice but to leave him alone while she went to work. Meanwhile, a sexual predator was having his way with him and other children in the area. So Herman's mother made the ultimate sacrifice and sent him to IMI. "11-year-old Juancito is our most recent reunification miracle. He's been with us since he was 3. All we knew for sure at the time was that his mother had a severe mental illness and that Juancito had lived with his sick grandfather. The story is confusing, but apparently the Honduran social services known as INFA became involved when Juancito got sick and he somehow got placed with IMI. We heard that his grandfather had died. Meanwhile, Juancito's family was told that Juancito was dead. Still others said that he was adopted and taken to another country. But here they are, being reunited at the City of Refuge on November 1st, 2017, thanks to Sagari, our spirit-filled social worker, who investigated and located the family. Hopefully you have a clear picture of our kids, and that like Moses, they were chosen and preserved by God, and that they have a destiny. As for me, I'm coming to understand the deeper implications of Mother Teresa's focus and the words of Jesus in Matthew chapter 25. "I was hungry, and you gave me something to eat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in." I am also more certain than ever that his conclusion about the sheep and the goats is not hyperbole. People have all sorts of expectations when they come to these meetings. Many come seeking prayers and prophetic words for and about themselves. Others come in hopes of finding a calling or perhaps being healed. Still others come to be entertained or to even find fault. I've seen people get offended and reject Tom out of hand because a prophetic word didn't sound right at the time. Still others got mad because he didn't have any new jokes or a new video to show. Others come to verify, somewhat suspiciously so, that the money they gave to God is being used in a way in which they approve. Still others come because God called them and give money because God told them. They understand that the race in which we as Christians are called to finish well isn't about them, their wants, their feelings. It's about Him. It's about seeing Him in others, serving Him in others, loving Him in others. They look into the eyes of these children and see Jesus. It's paradoxical, really, because the time, money, and resources that you give to Him and others, you actually give to yourself. But there's a subtle twist in it all, and a narcissistic hook for some, and that it all comes back to expectations in the end. Are you searching for and expecting to see Him in others, serving Him in others, loving Him in others? Or are you expecting others to see and appreciate Jesus in you?